Las Vegas, home to the fabulous UNLV Lady Rebels, who own the longest conference winning streak in the country. 23 straight for Desiree Young and company, dating back to last season.
UNLV, the regular season Mountain West champions, and they complete the journey as a tournament champions. And for the first time in 20 years, UNLV Lady Rebels are heading to the NCAAA tournament.
And tonight they look to go back-to-back against Allison Fertig and the second-seeded Wyoming Cowgirls, who feel like they're a different team now than when UNLV swept them a couple of months ago. This is what's on the line, and it's next. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota, live from the Thomas and Mack Center, just off the Strip in Vegas. It's the Mountain West Women's Championship as number 21 UNLV faces the Wyoming Cowgirls. We get the 1 against the 2, and the 1 seed Lady Rebels got a scare last night, surviving San Diego State by 3. With Megan McEwen, I'm Chris Hassel. You would think UNLV would be a shoo-in for the NCAA tournament with 30 wins. That might not be the case, though, according to our bracketologist. The good news is no team with more than 27 wins has ever been left out.
Not only have the Lady Rebels put up 30 wins on the season, they've won 18 in a row in conference play. I don't care what sport you're playing. It is so difficult to win 18 straight conference games. That being said, why not take it out of the hands of the committee, win your conference tournament, and get that coveted automatic bid?
They've won 21 straight games overall. They've won 22 straight games on their home floor, and 23 straight in conference dating back to last season, 30 this year, and they haven't lost since mid-December. One of the main reasons why they're force inside Desiree Young.
Desiree Young is a force to be reckoned with in the paint. She's 6'1", but her length makes it feel like she's 7'1" to opponents, and she is aggressive with an incredible motor, getting to the basket, rebounding the ball, but I love her ability to play with her back to the basket. She has a load of post moves in her toolbox, and she is so physical. When she gets into the paint, you better throw 1, 2, just as many bodies as you can at her to stop her.
Well, one of those bodies is going to be Allison Fertig, who's been great in this tournament for Wyoming. But when these two teams played the 2 times in the regular season, Fertig was totally shut down, but she thinks it's going to be a different story tonight.
UNLV held Fertig to a combined 9 shot attempts in the first 2 matchups. That being said, Fertig has vastly improved. In fact, she's averaging a double-double in this conference tournament. But Fertig has great positioning down low, and when she gets there, it's difficult to move her. Great feel for angles as well. She's somebody Wyoming is going to have to play through in order to get some paint touches and force UNLV's defense to shift.
Well, the Rebels are trying to go back-to-back like Boise did a few years ago. Wyoming's trying to win their second in 3 years. What's going to give? Tip-off next. Introducing the starting lineups here at the Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas, 1 versus 2. Wow, UNLV, in essence, Booker going to have the ball in her hands a ton in this game as we look at the starting lineups brought to you by Kubota. She's going to be going up against Quinn Weideman, who is a great defender for the Wyoming Cowgirls. So a couple of matchups to look for: Fertig against Young, Weideman against Booker. Heather Ezell, 7 seasons as an assistant at Wyoming, first season as a head coach, had a great career at Iowa State, a career that was ended in the 2009 Elite Eight by Lindy LaRocque, who played at Stanford. More on that a little bit later. LaRocque just won her 2nd Mountain West Coach of the Year award in her 3rd season. Let's take a look at the Daisy Cottage Cheese keys to the game from Megan McEwen.
Control pace of play will be massive for the Cowgirls. UNLV is one of the fastest paced teams in the league, averaging 78 points a game. Then you got to crash the boards, keep UNLV to one-and-done situations. On the flip side, the Rebels, when they have a balanced attack and multiple players are scoring, they become so difficult to defend and, most importantly, protect the paint. Between Alyssa Brown and Desiree Young, both forwards on UNLV, they average nearly 8 rebounds a game each. You got to make sure you're cleaning up and protecting your presence in the paint.
Now UNLV got here with a blowout win over Nevada in the quarters. A hard-fought win last night by 3 against San Diego State. Had a chance to tie the game in the final seconds. Wyoming got here by blowing out San Jose State and getting past Colorado State by 9. And the Cowgirls have the ball to start this game. And there's Allison Furty. She would love to go one-on-one all night with Desiree. Does not win that battle, but that's a good look. I think they'd take 10 times out of 10. There's Young, double teamed against this Wyoming zone, and it's a travel. We're going to see similar things tonight, Megan, from both of these teams on the defensive end, aren't we?
Well, it's exactly what you want to see if you're Wyoming, doubling Desiree Young and making her just really uncomfortable and force her to make that decision quickly. And you're also going to see this three-quarter court press from the Lady Rebels. They like to drop back into a 2-3 zone. Their goal is to pack the paint and not allow Wyoming to have any easy entry passes into Allison Furtick.
Trying to get in the middle of that zone and work it inside out if they need to. And there's Furtick on the elbow. They won't mind having her catch it there, but slipping back door for an easy bucket is the freshman of the year, Melina Peterson.
Cutting hard to the basket is going to be key, especially on that backside. When the ball goes to the high post, that weak side is going to be wide open underneath in a zone.
And Desiree isn't the only power inside for UNLV. Alyssa Brown has been great this season.
I love when Brown puts the ball on the floor. She's got great size at 6'1". She can beat a lot of people off the dribble.
She had 16 and 9 in the last meeting between these two, January the 19th. They also played back in December. First game was closer. But as Wyoming kept saying last night, they feel like they're a much different team now than they were 6 weeks ago.
Just goes to show you the length of a season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You can be a completely different team now than you were then.
The three rains in from Alyssa Durazo Frescas.
She does not need a lot of time to get that shot off. As long as her feet are square towards the basket, whew, that thing's got a high percentage rate of going in.
And now a quick three to try to answer is off the mark from Weideman, but a second chance for Wyoming. That's usually where UNLV will get you, in second chance opportunities. And they pay it off, the three from Tommy Olson.
Nice ball movement by the Cowgirls early, hitting the middle, forcing the zone to shift, and ultimately finding gaps within the zone to get open looks.
UNLV, one of the best in the country at outscoring opponents in second chance points. They're +7 per game. Wyoming giving them a taste of their own medicine, and an air ball from Brown.
Brown has the ability to knock down that three-point shot and spread the floor. She just didn't have enough oomph on the shot.
Both teams going to work out of a zone much of this night. There's Furtick, getting a little bit of help. Still able to go up, and again missing at point blank. And now Brown going to work again with the left hand.
Brown used her quick footwork to get all the way around her defender. She's got a quickness advantage on Ella. She's been trying to take it to her all night.
Rebels trying to make Wyoming work on the offensive end of the court before they even cross half court. Furtick, great position again.
She positioned by stealing her hips up the lane and got on the inside of the defender. So that was a wide open look going high-low.
Furtick was just way too much to handle for Colorado State last night. 15 points, 15 rebounds. What UNLV wants to do is try to wear her down, make her work on both sides of the court. That three off the mark, but Justice Etheridge hustled and drew the jump, and that's going to keep it on this end for UNLV.
Basketball 101, you got to box out the shooter. Come on now. Brown using her quickness to get right around. She uses that footwork, gets her shoulder right into an advantage with Ellis to get around.
And that was a great inbounds pass. A no-look to Alyssa Durazo-Frescas for another 3.
If you're going to do a no-look inbounds pass, you got to make sure your teammate makes it to make that assist even sweeter for you in the stat sheet.
Durazo-Frescas 2 for 2 from deep. UNLV great from outside in game 1, not so much last night. Oh, net once again from Tommy Olsen, who hit one of the biggest shots of the game last night. It was the only shot she made at the end of the first quarter, a half quarter, to cut a 6-point deficit down to 3, and they went on a big run after that as Young answers for the Lady Rebels.
This is the Wyoming team that has multiple players like Olsen who have been on that NCAA tournament team with Wyoming. They know what it takes to win at this level, and they're going to make big shots when you need them to. That's what seniors do.
Yeah, 2 championship teams here. Lady Rebels won it last season. Several holdovers. Most of the Lady Rebels were on that team a season ago. Wyoming turns it over. And Grace Ellis was one of those players on that team.
And we've got teams taking advantage of the zone. Shoot the 3, be a zone buster, but most importantly, get into the paint and let one of your best centers go to work.
You're watching Bracket Week presented by Kubota. UNLV with a 12-10 lead on Wyoming here at the first media timeout in the first quarter. This UNLV team has 30 wins this season. They've won 21 straight. It's almost comical that we even have to suggest that they might not get into the NCAA tournament, but here's their resume. What do you think?
So does that make you a comedian for having to suggest it?
I guess so.
18-0 conference play. That is so difficult to do. I don't care what conference you're in. I don't care what sport you're playing. Look, a 51 net ranking for the Lady Rebels. Just win this game, put the icing on the cake to go to the tournament. But my goodness, she can't stop missing from the corner 3s.
Durazo-Frescas 3 for 3, all 3s from the corner. And UNLV's up by 5. Just to put a bow on that conversation, our bracketologists right now think they would be an 11 seed. I know UNLV would love a 9 or a 10. As Fertig misses another point-blank shot. But our bracketologists are worried that if they don't win this game, this loss is really going to hurt their resume, because Wyoming is just inside the top 100 in the net, and they would definitely be on the bubble if they lose this game. Now, that's according to our bracketologists. If I had to pick, I mean, you win 30 games, give me a break. Give me a break.
Especially if you're going to let teams get in with at-large bids who don't even have 20 wins on the season.
Right.
This team has put together 30 wins, only 2 losses. This resume is great. The Mountain West has been competitive this year. Put them in the tournament.
Second chance opportunity, and maybe a third chance. And they'll get it. Shot clock resets to 20. Desiree wide open underneath.
Great positioning by Young, and she does a little pump fake just to make sure she has enough room to go up cleanly for the layup.
It's a 7-0 run for the Lady Rebels, and they've taken a 7-point lead with 3.5 to go here in the first quarter. And they continue to pound it inside to Fertig. She gets her one-on-one, and this time she wins it.
Young was sitting on that left shoulder, forcing her to go the other way, and look, Fertig made her pay.
That one is out of bounds off Durazo-Frescas, and it's a turnover. Back to the Cowgirls. And now we see, once again, that full court token pressure, because it's not necessarily to force a turnover, it's just to slow you down a little bit.
And it takes time off the shot clock, so now the Wyoming only has 20 seconds left on offense.
Emily Mellema, and it's swiped away by Essence Booker.
Can't bring the ball down. It's an open invitation for defenders to snatch it right out your hands.
And they turn it right back over. Head of the key, that's Tess Barnes right off the bench. And the hot three-point shooting continues for both of these teams. Wyoming 3 for 4 from deep. UNLV 3 for 5.
Barnes came off with her feet and shoulders square to the basket. That was just so automatic. All she had to worry about was letting that free throw, or follow through rather, go.
There she is again in the corner. And finally a miss from Durazo Frescas. She was a non-factor last night, did not score. 9 points on 3 3-point makes early. Wyoming trying to answer with an 8-0 run of their own. Final 100 seconds of this first quarter. And now with 15 on the shot clock, Essence Booker is going to rekey the offense. It's a screen from Young. Booker the drive, and she throws it away. They really like it when she's aggressive and gets into the paint, because more times than not, she's going to go up, she's going to get fouled, and she's going to get to the line.
That was a nice job by Wyoming going underneath the screen, so she thought she had even more room to get downhill, but she ended up going into 3 brown jerseys.
And had to give it up. She was 13 for 14 at the line last night, a bunch of clutch free throws in that fourth quarter. Furtick double teamed, and Booker again comes away with a steal. Final 50 seconds of the first quarter. Booker for 3. And Furtick the weak side rebound. About a 15-second difference shot in game clock. Melima. And now UNLV can hold for 1. Good shooting first quarter for both these teams, both 50% or better. Game clock down to 2. Jackson drives, gets a good look, but does not get the bounce.
My goodness, what a half or quarter rather we've had. There's like a magnet on the ball through the rim from 3. Both teams have to get out and contest that 3-point line.
Well, each team has a trio of trays. UNLV used a 7-0 run to take a 7-point lead, but Wyoming's within 2. It's bracket week, presented by Kubota.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Kubota. Together we do more. By Daisy Cottage Cheese. Only Daisy Cottage Cheese will do. And by UKG. Our purpose is people.
UNLV up by 2 on Wyoming. It's set to start the second quarter, and it was a great first quarter of shooting for Alyssa Durazo Frescas, who made her first 3 from outside.
Durazo Frescas had her feet set, shoulder square to the basket, and she was so confident in shooting. Not only was she wide open on this shot, she had all day to scroll through Netflix, find a show to binge watch, and knock it down. But that's what great shooters do. They don't need a ton of time to get it off, but they still have their feet set. They're always ready to shoot, and she's been hunting her shot at a high level today. The
only Lady Rebel to make a 3 in that first quarter. Wyoming basketball to start the second. They've done a good job getting it into Furtick, but she'll start this second quarter on the bench. Usually plays around 25 minutes. Melina Peterson way off the mark on that 3-point attempt.
UNLV back to man-to-man defense. So that 3 was a little more contested than when they were playing zone.
Kiera Jackson. And now Desiree Young with another turnover. UNLV has been bitten with the turnover bug. That's their 5th already. Do you expect them to go man-to-man when Furtick isn't in the game?
That could be a good plan, but when they were able to go man-to-man, you can also tire out your post players down low. So it's just trying to mix it up to keep Wyoming off balance offensively.
That's our first foul of the game.
Which is wild, by the way, because normally in the length of a college basketball game, you have at least like 5 fouls in the first quarter.
We got Kiera Jackson for that reach in, and they say it's a shooting foul. So Marta Savic, 65.5% at the free throw line. Jersey Mike's is the proud sponsor of the Naismith Women's Player of the Year Award. Join us over Final Four weekend as we highlight this year's winners right here on CBS Sports Network.
Got a lot of good options for that award this year.
I think there's only one.
Who's your choice?
It's got to be Caitlin Clark.
I mean, I agree with you.
I don't think Heather Rizzo likes that as an Iowa State alum.
She definitely does not like that as an Iowa State alum. But Caitlin Clark's had 10 triple-doubles in her career so far. It's hard to argue with that.
Incredible. See how the seeds shake out. Selection show coming up Sunday night.
You see Wyoming back in this 2-3 zone, just trying to make things difficult to get the ball inside for the Lady Rebels.
Cowgirls on a 7-0 run, answering the Lady Rebels 7-0 run. There's Jackson, and she's fouled. She'll have 2 shots.
And now we're getting nothing but fouls the last 2 possessions.
Back-to-back fouls. And Jackson to the free throw line, a really good free throw shooter, almost 85%. She did not have a good game last night. Lady Rebels were frustrated, and they got all they could handle from San Diego State. The Aztecs would not go away late, and they had to dodge a last-second 3 that could have sent the game into overtime.
This tournament's been fantastic from the standpoint of these games have been close. And you know, you got to fight for your life at the end of the day, and the Aztecs had a great last-minute push, but Coach LaRocque said we knew that was going to be a tough ball game because everybody gives us their best shot. We're the #1 team in the league.
And Jackson, the 6th player of the year this season. Men's tournament also going on in this arena, on this floor. Wyoming and UNLV both saw their men's teams lose earlier today, so the ladies are the last hope. Great position inside, and Desiree Young will have a chance at 3.
Great positioning because it was deep positioning. Fantastic job. We're seeing a fabulous battle in the post. Here comes the double, but yet Furtick spins back last minute, so she's got an open look at the basket. Then on the other end, Desiree Young gets that deep positioning. Boom, bang, gets that quick release off. She is so physical in the paint. If she wants a position, she's going to get it.
And UNLV is back up by 2. Weideman, just an awkward angle to try to bank that in. Etheridge, oh, she saw an opening and took it.
Beautiful. Etheridge felt that the defense was on her back, trailing her. That's an open invitation when you grab the ball to go straight to the basket if no one's going to stop you.
Ooh. And Furtick's going to get called for her 2nd foul. That's huge.
Well, Furtick completely threw Young to the ground with that elbow, trying to generate space down low. They've been battling this whole entire game. Both really physical post players who try to get deep positioning early in possessions. At that time, Furtick let that elbow fly loose. You can see on the left side of your screen, boom, just trying to create that space right in front of the official. It's always tough.
And she takes a seat with 6 points and a couple of rebounds. Tried to squeeze it in there to Brown, and it's another turnover, the 6th of the first half for UNLV.
Too much traffic to try to bounce that pass into the paint.
Right. Without Furtick, where does the offense come from for the Cowgirls?
Well, the offense now has to go to the outside, try to get your leaders like Weideman involved in shooting from the perimeter.
Oh, nice little move by the Aussie, Tess Barnes.
That works too. Get the ball inside. Wherever you can get the offense, go for it.
9 points off turnovers for the Cowgirls. Booker used that screen and then just using that patience inside. Not in a rush. She is a senior, doing it a long time.
Wyoming keeps going under that screen to try to make sure they can cut off the angle for Booker, but she's so patient and she creates angles well.
Oh, short arm by Peterson. Jackson around that screen. And Weideman the rebound for Wyoming, looking to push. And they continue to feed the post even with Fertig out of this game.
When you feed the post, it just makes the defense collapse and opens up things on the perimeter more.
Another good look at a three, and that one airmailed by Barnes. All right, you play. Your dad's a Hall of Fame head coach. What's your position on 2 fouls in the first half? Do you come back in at all?
I'd keep him for the second half, especially in a game like this where it matters so much. Every possession down the stretch, you're going to need Fertig for the second half. I'd keep her on the bench till then.
All right, see how the Cowgirls can stay afloat here. Down by 4 with Fertig on the bench with 2.
It's a controversial question, though. What are you doing to me, Chris?
That's why you get paid the big bucks. Tough defense inside. Just nowhere for Savic to go. And then a runner rushed up there by Olsen. She didn't need to do that. There was still time on the shot clock. But a great defensive possession for the Lady Rebs. And now Brown for 3. Way off the mark once more. And with 4:38 to go here in the first half, UNLV with a 4-point lead and Wyoming in some foul trouble. UNLV leading Wyoming by 4, 4:38 to go here in the second quarter. Both of the head coaches in tonight's game gave birth recently to their first children, respectively. Heather Rizell gave birth to daughter Dylan in December. She came 7 weeks premature, spent 8 weeks in the NICU, and Heather, along with her wife Justine, were right there with her. She didn't return to the team until a couple of weeks ago. That's how incredible this season has been for Wyoming. Lindy LaRock gave birth to her daughter Ellie back on November the 3rd. She said her water broke during an exhibition game, and then she missed a couple of games during the season, but now little Ellie is watching her mom from the stands, and Dad Dan Cunningham. How about that?
She's like, hey, Mom, don't forget to play some defense, by the way. I love that, though. And, hey, shout out on International Women's Days to 2 head coaches who are also juggling being a head coach in charge of a team and being a mom. That is not an easy thing to do. Great stuff.
Once again, Wyoming trying to go inside and not having any luck with Grace Ellis. Again, Allison Fertig is on the bench with 2 fouls here with 4:15 to go in this first half. And Young inside. It was a great feed and a great find, and the Lady Rebs are up by 6. Etheridge, great vision.
Beautiful 2-man game by UNLV. The Lady Rebels have to take advantage of Fertig being on the bench by continuing to get the ball inside to Young at all costs. Ooh.
Nice quick shovel pass outside, but Olsen short on the 3-point attempt. Wyoming 1 for their last 8 from the floor. UNLV trying to take their largest lead of the game. Young, the offensive board, and the putback.
The Lady Rebels have been able to keep Wyoming to one-and-done situations and have forced them into taking tough shots. And on the other hand, they're capitalizing off of it by scoring at high percentage areas in the paint.
Quick trigger from Weideman off the mark.
Ooh, that hurt.
And Booker's slow to get up. So it was 5-on-4 for a moment. And that one's just going to crawl over the front of the rim for Ellis.
Ellis was able to split that double team, and she had that height advantage as well to have an easier look at the basket.
Booker around that screen and drills the J.
That time Booker did a great job getting her defender on her side and running her into the screener so she had an open look at the basket.
Oh, all net from Ellis. So inside and out on back-to-back possessions for Grace Ellis, who, along with Tess Barnes, hail from Australia. 4-3 of the game for Wyoming. We saw Desi Ray take a hard tumble a couple possessions ago.
She's so physical, and then she just falls, almost smacks her face on the ground. But thankfully, she got up and she's moving under her own will, and she's just fine getting back in here, banging in the paint.
Oh, yeah, that's what she does, but she missed that. So Wyoming had a point-blank miss like that earlier. Young gives it right back to him. And now the Cowgirls down by 5 at the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. Barnes. That was another good look.
Wyoming's running its motion offense, and they're so good at coming off of screens. They're getting open looks as a result, just not knocking them down.
And that one poked away from Etheridge, out of bounds. It's turnover number 8 for UNLV. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Adam Zucker, Wally Zerbiak, and Megan Perry standing by in our New York studio, getting you caught up on all the day's news and highlights. An extremely busy day in the world of conference tournaments, both women and men, coming up on AT&T at the half.
It's the best week of the year. Before, of course, the real best week of the year, which is the first week of the NCAAW
I've got friends that'll argue that this is better than the first week of the tournament. I don't buy it.
I said I would like to argue with your friends about that argument.
I think this is the second best, but plenty of people think this is the best. Everybody in action. Booker got her hand on it. Shot clock down to 5. Peterson spinning. Can't get the roll.
Really good defense by Etheridge, keeping her in front, not letting her have an easy look at the rim.
Minutes ago, second quarter. UNLV has led virtually the whole way, but their largest lead was 8. Haven't been able to run away. That one poked out of bounds by Peterson. 10 on the shot clock. Heather Rizal just trying to get this thing to halftime. Still within shouting distance when Ferdig can enter. Booker a deep 3. She still had 5 on the shot clock when she launched it.
I don't like that shot. That should have been a dish inside to the post. Let your big go to work.
11 or 12 second difference now, shot in the game clock. Weideman. Great defense by the Lady Rebels so far in this possession. A left-handed runner off the glass for Mellema. Now final 10 seconds of the first half. Cowgirls within 3. It's Booker. Lost the handle. Fade away. Nope. And I think Heather Rizal would sign up for this score when Fertig went out with those 2 fouls.
Good defense, great offense. Nice finish over the top of Etheridge, avoiding any sort of contact. We got ourselves a ball game at the half.
Top-seeded UNLV has won 21 straight games. Up by 3 at the break. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Looking forward to the second half. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota, and this is where the bracket ends in the Mountain West Women's Tournament. It's Wyoming and UNLV for the championship. We've got 1 half to go. 31-28 UNLV, and they're shooting it better than Wyoming. 50% of the Cowgirls are just 39%. We got the second half coming up next.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. By AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
UNLV by 3 as we get set to start the third quarter. A couple of coaches very familiar with one another, not just coaching against one another, but playing against one another. Flashback to 2009, Heather Rizell and Iowa State. Lindy LaRocque and Stanford met in the Elite Eight. It was Heather Rizell's last game as a college basketball player. She was not happy when I reminded her of that when I saw her.
She's kind of trash talking you when you did.
Well, she's a Cyclone. I'm a Hawkeye fan. You're a Northwestern grad. Megan McEwen, Chris Hassel with you here. Got a really good game, and if I'm Wyoming, I'm feeling pretty good that they were able to weather the storm without Allison Fertig for most of that second quarter after she picked up that second foul.
UNLV didn't necessarily take as much advantage as I thought they could have with Fertig on the bench, but that being said, Wyoming's been able to capitalize with points off turnovers, 9 points off turnovers to be exact. If they can continue trying to turn over UNLV and capitalize, this is going to remain a really tight game. But getting the ball inside of Fertig early and often was a recipe for success for the Cowgirls. She was so crafty down low and got really deep positioning. On the other side, for the Lady Rebels, Desiree Young did what Desiree Young does. Physicality in the paint, and she created a ton of space for herself, getting deep positioning early on in possessions. UNLV needs to try to get the ball into her as much as possible just to force the defense to collapse and open up even more on the perimeter offensively.
All right, Desiree already on her way to another double-double. She's top 20 in the country in those, 10 points, 8 rebounds. And we are 1/2 away from crowning a champion. Will UNLV win their 22nd straight game and finish a perfect season in conference play, or will Wyoming crash the party? We didn't have any fouls in the first quarter, and now getting a few more whistles here. And this one just 9 seconds in.
Talk about crashing the party. Wyoming crashed that offensive possession for the Lady Rebels, trapping quickly. And that rotation came over. That was a really nice defensive decision by the Cowgirls.
Boy, and that is just huge, as it's number 3 on Fertig. They sat her almost the entire second quarter with 2 fouls, and then 9 seconds in, commits a silly one. Shot clock to 5. Booker inside, and now back out. Corner 3 is good from Alyssa Brown.
Even when Young isn't scoring in the paint, just getting the ball inside forces the defense to collapse, and it leads to an even more open shot for Brown to knock down.
There's Fertig. Weideman cut off, but an open 3 look from Ellis is way off the mark.
Beautiful, beautiful ball movement by the Lady Rebels. Moving that thing like a hot potato, but when you get the ball inside, then Fertig has to kind of commit to coming down to show a hand on Young, and Brown had all day long to knock that down.
And Fertig now sitting once again with 3 fouls, so we'll see how long they can go without her this time.
Get the ball inside.
And they do just that, and that one crawls over the top. UNLV matching their largest lead of the game at 8.
Fertig's really the only post player on Wyoming that can match the physicality that Young brings to the table.
Another bad miss from the Cowgirls from deep. They're now 4 of 14 after starting this game 3 for 5. Desiree couldn't handle that, and it's a steal for Melina Peterson.
The pass was right at her feet. It's hard to catch that when you're 6'1".
Peterson trying to put the moves on Etheridge. That's going to go out of bounds off of the Lady Rebels. It was tipped. Desiree now making some hay inside with Fertig on the bench again.
She gets such good positioning. She's deep, but I love her quick decision making.
Weideman got a good look at 3. No, and ooh. That's a tough tumble there as Tess Barnes got smashed on the floor. She was fallen onto, and her head banged against the hardwood. A couple of Lady Rebels fighting for that ball.
Ooh, ow. That was like a WWE wrestling slam. Accidental contact. It was just kind of the way that Brown fell to the ground, but my head hurts after seeing that.
It looks like she's holding her hand as well. So she's on the bench now with Fertig. And that's going to be an offensive foul.
Lady Rebels went back to a zone on that possession, just keeping Wyoming off balance. Every time the Cowgirls come down, they don't know what they're going to see defensively. And that elbow to the face, that hurts by Ellis. And they're probably going to review this to see if it needs to be upgraded to a flagrant, because you can't create space by knocking someone above the shoulders.
Now Ellis not happy about that. They'll take a look and we'll take a break. Lady Rebels up by 8 here in the third. Good start to the third quarter for UNLV. They got Fertig with their third foul, and now they're up by 8, tying their largest lead of the game. The men's tournament also taking place on this floor, and we've got the quarterfinals set for you tomorrow on CBS Sports Network. And the Mountain West has been great this season. Net ranking average 5th best among all the conferences. And Jerry Palm right now has 4 Mountain West teams in the tournament. Utah State barely in. This is what they were looking at the scores table at the break. It is just a common offensive foul on Grace Ellis. And I think a pretty good acting job once again by Desiree Young.
You gotta sell it, right?
You might as well. You get grazed a little bit, go down, you'll get that call. She's smart.
Especially in front of the official.
So now Fertig remaining on the bench with those 3 fouls. And UNLV smelling blood in the water. Booker hits the 3.
Beautiful ball movement by the Lady Rebels, just moving that thing all around the court, so Wyoming had to shift defensively.
Wyoming trying to answer, can't get it done. Tommy Olson has been cold since making her first jumper of this game. 8-0 to start this third quarter for the Lady Rebels.
Wyoming started in his zone. The moment the ball went to the corner, they switched to man-to-man defense mid-possession.
And that got the Lady Rebels. We saw that at shoot-around today. That's exactly what they were hoping for. Some confusion and then not enough time late.
Defensively, you must have excellent communication if you're going to make a switch defensively in the process of possession. Nice job by Wyoming communicating.
Oh, good dump down inside, and the freshman of the year, Melina Peterson, makes it a 9-point game.
Peterson has great size at 5'11", so she's able to post up smaller guards and have that advantage down low if she gets deep position.
Young Trout, no, she stepped out of bounds. I didn't get it for the walk, but that's back-to-back turnovers for UNLV.
Great ball movement leads to excellent shots. That skip pass out of the corner is going to be wide open all day long in the zone. And then you see that cut just simply going to the basket, height advantage at 5'11", over Durazo Frescas. Nice job by Wyoming.
11th turnover for UNLV, almost at their average already. Emily Mellema, way short on the 3.
Wyoming still needs to keep getting the ball inside because it's leading to open looks from 3.
Booker driving. And Young, the weak side rebound. Booker said yesterday after the win that I'm going to put up some shots because more times than not when I miss, Desiree's going to be there to put it back in.
So the miss is like an assist. She's got to talk to the statistician, make sure they put the 1 in the assist column, not in the shot attempt column.
That one rushed up there by Peterson, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cowgirls. Look at that offensive rebound putback.
And actually, that was a nice drive to the basket by Booker. But Young just uses her physicality really quickly and often to create second chance opportunities for herself.
Into the zone and cross court. Another 3-point miss. The Cowgirls are ice cold, 0 for 6 from 3-point range this half. Booker twirling around and scoring. Fertig continues to watch on with those 3 fouls. The double team Nice little move there. The fake handoff by Marta Savic. And she took it the other way for the bucket.
Savic needs to continue asserting her will down low in the paint, especially because that's a high percentage area. Wyoming cuts so hard to the basket that she's going to have some room to move.
UNLV's outscored the Cowgirls 12-4 this half. See if they can knock down a three. They can! Grace Ellis.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Cowgirls. Get a little inside-outside game going. Force the Lady Rebels to really have to guard you in space one-on-one.
Booker driving around again and blew the lay-in. And Desiree got the rebound and draws the foul. And Booker once again getting into the paint. She's the subject of our Reese's player profile from right here in Las Vegas. She's already graduated with a degree in sociology.
I like that she has 4 sisters. That's a good part to add.
Booker, 9 points, couple of rebounds in this one. UNLV by 8. Sunday morning, 8:30 Eastern. We're heading across the pond for some can't-miss pitch play. Heavy hitters Chelsea and Man United facing off in a Women's Super League showdown right here on CBS Sports Network. 43-35. UNLV on top here in the third as you're watching Bracket Week presented by Kubota. UNLV trying to finish off a perfect conference season for the first time since 1985 when they were in the Big West and only played 8 conference games. Look at that picture.
Hey,
the palm trees in the background.
You gotta love the props. But that being said, I don't care what conference it is, how many games you're playing, to go undefeated in any sort of conference play is really difficult to do. They did it back in the 80s. They could potentially do it again tonight.
Yeah, that team finished ranked 16th in the postseason AP poll, getting to the NCAA tournament. Desiree Young, another double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds. And Wyoming needs more of that. More three-point shooting. Quinn Weideman, who's their most prolific three-point shooter, gets the friendly roll here on UNLV's court.
Wyoming back in the zone.
And Young again, a great look. Doesn't get the roll.
Young was almost too open. She realized it last second and as a result got somewhat off balance trying to score.
Wyoming on an 8-2 run over the last 95 seconds. Trying to cut into this lead even more with Fertig on the bench with 3 fouls. Three-pointer. Hey, another great roll. That's 3 straight threes for the Cowgirls. That one from Peterson, and it's a 4-point game.
The Cowgirls staying so patient offensively, getting good ball reversals, and as a result, they're getting the Lady Rebels out of position defensively.
And almost able to jump that entry pass, but Young snatches and finishes.
Young's like a cheat code. Just get the ball inside, she's gonna go get you a bucket. Her physicality and quickness is so difficult to stop.
After a really cold stretch to start this third quarter for Wyoming, they're heating up from outside. They started 0 for 6 from deep in this third, but they've made their last 3. Savic, little cross court. Melima, another! And Heather Rizal wants a timeout. With 1:51 to go here in the third, the Cowgirls are within 3 with another 3.
Paint touches lead to open three-point looks. That's exactly what Wyoming has been able to get. Let the ball travel inside or around the perimeter. You're going to get an open one. Right now, the Cowgirls are like Oprah. You get a 3, you get a 3, you get a 3. Excellent ball movement. It's forcing UNLV to have to move defensively. And right now, the Cowgirls playing with a lot of confidence.
Well, they needed to see something good happen, a little bit of luck. That 3 that kind of bounced through from Ellis started things. They were down 13 points at the 4:55 mark, but they're on a 14-4 run since.
On a 14-4 run without their top scorer, Allison Furtick, who's on the bench with 3 fouls. And this is giving Coach Giselle a big opportunity to continue to keep her on the bench, because Wyoming's faring just fine without her, so they can save Furtick to the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I was surprised when they were down 13 that she was remaining on the bench with the game potentially slipping away, but a good call by Heather Rizal. As Young gets it, and the foul on Savic.
I mean, that's just not fair. It's so difficult to stop a player up. She gets the ball and just makes the decision so quickly. Savic is late trying to contest because she's just trying to figure out how to get back into position after Young used her strength and ability to create some deep space.
And now big time foul trouble for Wyoming because Savic just picked up her 4th foul.
UNLV needs to just keep getting the ball inside to Young.
This is Ellis, one-on-one.
Good decision by Wyoming. Ellis is 6 feet tall. She has that height advantage over smaller guards. Keep letting her go to work in a high percentage area.
Booker driving baseline. Tough shot, got fouled on the arm, and she'll get a couple free throws. Melima picking up the foul there as Alyssa Brown checks back into the game for the Lady Rebels. Kennedy Winfrey saw a few minutes and she sits the bench. CBS Sports celebrating Women's History Month, recognizing the outstanding contributions women and girls have made on and off the field of play. Not only that, it's International Women's Day today. That's Wyoming basketball.
Right now, a lot going right for the Cowgirls, but it started on the defensive side of the ball, not allowing the Lady Rebels to have too many open looks from the outside. They're forcing them to beat Wyoming with Desiree Young.
They're within 4, looking to come even closer, and they do. Emily Melima makes it a 1-point game.
When Melima can get her feet set, it is game over when she can get that lift on her follow-through.
That one tipped out of bounds. 35 seconds left here in the third, 20 on the shot clock.
Do you see UNLV getting caught on the screen? And Melima is wide open. The bench loves it. And we've got a 1-point game.
That's their 5th consecutive made 3-pointer. Booker, crossover, spin, bucket. Shot clock is off. Wyoming trailed by as many as 13 in this quarter. Melima, step back 3, off the mark. And the Lady Rebels will take a 3-point lead to the final quarter.
It's amazing what good ball movement does. Get you wide open shots, and that's what the Cowgirls have been able to do.
Trailed by 13, but they're within 3 as we head to the 4th. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Well, somebody's going to be dancing here very shortly. UNLV with a 3-point lead heading to the 3rd quarter. Time now for Worth a Watch, brought to you by Principal. They were up 13 until Wyoming hit 5 straight threes.
Wyoming's ball movement has been fantastic, whether it be through passing or cutting hard towards the basket. Regardless, UNLV has had to move defensively, They forced UNLV to play defense, go really deep into the shot clock, and as a result, they've caught the Lady Rebels sleeping by knocking down some threes. And
the bench has really come to play today for Wyoming, with Fertig back in there with those 3 fouls. They go right at her, and Young scores again. She has 22.
Not much that Fertig can do when Desiree Young catches the ball in the post, because she's got to be careful with those fouls.
They go to Fertig on the block. She'll try to return the favor. Great defense from Young, and she saves it from going out of bounds.
She's got fantastic length, just uses his arms. It's so disruptive. Fertig shot right into the defense.
And there's Young once more. Desiree going left, blocked by Fertig. 11 on the shot clock. Return to the favor.
Desiree getting it done on both sides of the ball. First comes up with a big block, stays straight up and down. And Fertig, like you said, returns the favor. Keeping it even here defensively.
Shot clock to 3. Open look, Booker. And that one tied up. It'll go Wyoming.
Wyoming needs to focus in on keeping UNLV to one-and-done situations. That was a point of emphasis Coach Zell told us pregame. We could not allow the Lady Rebels to capitalize on second chance points. And as this fourth quarter continues to stay tight, boxing out and keeping UNLV to one-and-done situations is going to be massive.
UNLV has committed just 1 foul tonight. For perspective, 2 players in foul trouble for Wyoming. Fertig has 3, Savage has 4. Peterson the drive, nope. And look at Young handling it.
Young playing like a point forward.
And we asked head coach Lindy LaRocque how they've been so successful against Allison Fertig this season. And she said, we've got Desiree Young. And a 3 from Alyssa Durazo-Frescas. She had been quiet since the first quarter.
Durazo-Frescas staying ready. That's what shooters do. They don't think about any time they've ever missed. They only remember the makes, and she made 3 in that first quarter alone.
Wyoming trying to stop the bleeding, and that's a big shot from Tess Barnes.
Credit the way that UNLV has come out in this fourth quarter in attack mode scoring. They've gotten the ball inside, and it's led to open looks from 3 because the defense has collapsed down low for Wyoming.
Now 19-3 in bench scoring in favor of the Cowgirls. Etheridge, a little stop and go. What a move, but she couldn't pay it off. They're going to get another look at it. Booker, yup.
Nice job once again. UNLV staying with the possession, not letting it die. Active hands. It's just been a really good ball movement for the Lady Rebels. They have great balance right now scoring.
And we told you how good they are in second chance points. They're now +8 in second chance points tonight. This was the last time down for the Cowgirls. Barnes inside, but have not been able to get stops in this fourth quarter.
And Booker's wide open. Wyoming has to find her at all times, box out and create space back so they can go get the rebound.
And that one is tipped. And it's saved by Weideman. She was able to step on that midcourt stripe because it was tipped. And now Weideman curls around and out on the 3. 8-point lead again for the Lady Rebels. Booker gets a screen from Young. Open look. In and out. Young got it. And puts it back.
Desiree Young is getting any and every rebound she wants right now because she crashes the boards so hard. Nobody in a brown jersey can box her out right now.
Fertig draws the foul.
Young broke that plane of verticality. It wasn't straight up and down. But Young underneath battling. Watch her create space. I mean, she just double Heisman'd 2 brown jerseys away from her to grab that board. Yeah, you got to get in the weight room if you're going to make plays like that, as you see the flex on the bench.
Yeah, the bench hasn't had to do much tonight for UNLV except cheer on Desiree Young, who has 24 points and 13 rebounds.
Hey, hyping up your teammates is a very important job. You got to give them a little love so they can keep going.
And Wyoming knows they're going to have to go on another run here. Down by 9, 6:40 to go.
Wyoming has to find ways to get the ball inside to Furtick. They've been successful going to her early in the first quarter. They need to continue doing that in this fourth.
Yeah, she scored 6 points early before she picked up that second foul in the second quarter. Just 1 point since. It's tipped out of bounds by Melima, 15 on the shot clock.
If Wyoming's going to go on a run in this fourth quarter, it starts in the defensive side of the ball, getting stops and keeping UNLV to one-and-done possessions.
Clock under 10 once again. Booker, head fake on the 3, steps inside, in and out. Another offensive board. That one will go out of bounds, though, off of Young. Booker went for the steal, and now Barnes is open. 4-3.
The drive led to the open look. Driving in, it forced 2 white jerseys, which where the ball was. Shooter came right into the corner, or top of the key rather, wide open. 10th
3 of the game for a Wyoming team that only averages 6 threes a game. Almost got the turnover. Durazo Frescas. Oh, look who's there. Young. No. And it's Wyoming ball. Young was on the end line. And take a look from underneath.
Oh, that ball went off of Wyoming.
Yeah, and I think they're saying that it hit the end line on this first bounce right there before it hit the hand of Barnes. That's what the official was saying to Desiree Young. Wyoming down 6 with the ball when we come back here in the fourth quarter. UNLV is led by as many as 13 in the second half. Wyoming hanging around thanks to 10 3-point makes as we revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by Daisy Cottage Cheese.
Wyoming, when they've gone on runs, they've controlled pace of play. It's why this has been such a tight game. Crashing the boards, though, they haven't necessarily done it up to snuff. -11 on that rebounding margin. UNLV, great balanced attack. That's the reason why they have this lead. Multiple players stepping up and scoring, and then protecting the paint. UNLV got Allison Furtick in some foul trouble. She had to sit for a long time in this game. And now, really, the fourth quarter, she has to wait to be super effective down the stretch. Both teams doing a decent job executing the game plan.
It's been 371 days since UNLV lost a game to a Mountain West opponent. They started the streak in the conference tournament last year, winning the tournament. Perfect regular season, and 2 for 2 so far in this conference tournament. Up by 6, coming up on 5 minutes to go. Again, Barnes open. Oh, UNLV lucked out there.
Wyoming's constant motion is forcing UNLV to get caught ball watching and watching their own player, and it's leading to wide open shots for the Cowgirls.
Booker shut off, 10 on the shot clock. Brown curling around and travels. Well, throughout this long streak, UNLV has had a lot of close games like last night, and they have just never crumbled. But it's not like they're just blowing everybody out. Peterson goes baseline, and that's going to be a foul on Etheridge.
To that point, you have to have toughness in order to win close games. UNLV has had its fair share of close games down the stretch. In the semifinals of this tournament, a close game against the Aztecs. So when that toughness is there consistently, you give yourself a really good chance at closing out these tight games.
Wyoming controlled the glass last night against Colorado State. Not the case tonight against UNLV. Melima for 3. Air ball, and Furtick couldn't save it. .4:18 to go. 6-point lead for the Rebels.
Lady Rebels trying to run as much time off the clock as possible with their possessions.
And they're going to take this one under 4 minutes. And now Brown drives. And 5 on the shot clock. They'll have it underneath.
UNLV is looking to get the ball inside every single time they catch on the perimeter. That's how dominant Young has been in the post.
Etheridge trying to find somebody. Weideman tipped it, and now 4 seconds on the shot clock. And a tough angle to inbound. And toss it up, and it's a turnover. Weideman over to Mellema. And that one's picked off underneath the basket by Brown. Good recovery by the Lady Rebels. And there's Young driving in on Furtick. Too easy. She's got 26.
That face-up game is incredible because the pump fake forces Furtick to come up out of her stance. Then Young has that quickness advantage to get to the basket.
Weideman for 3. Again, way off the mark.
The Cowgirls are getting rushed now on their three-point attempts. Credit UNLV with coming up with a high contest on the hot hand.
And now with 3 minutes to go, the Lady Rebels have the ball up by 8. Booker. Outside Brown. Off the mark. And guess who was there? Young.
She's everywhere. Here, there, everywhere. So physical down low in the paint. And Wyoming does not have an answer right now to putting a body on her and boxing her out of the lane.
Her 16th rebound. And now she has 28 points. Desiree Young.
And creates space as soon as the shot goes up. She's already boxing out somebody around her. It should be the opposite. Wyoming needs to send 2 people at her to box her out of the paint. But yet, Young works for that position constantly down low, and that physicality is so tiring to have to go against for the entirety of a game.
Can you believe she didn't start playing until she was 12 years old? Only had 2 scholarship offers out of high school. Coming up next, the road to the Final Four continues as our Hoops experts break down all the latest tournament action on Inside College Basketball right here on CBS Sports Network. Most of the major tournaments got going today. And we're crowning a champion tonight here in the Mountain West as we look at Megan McEwen's teams poised to make a run in the tournament, including these UNLV Lady Rebels.
Well, I think the Lady Rebels have such a unique player in Desiree Young that a lot of teams aren't going to be used to seeing that physicality and motor that she possesses. The Zags have been fantastic all season long, got beat in the WCC title game by Portland, but they're still going to probably get an at-large bid. I'll tell you what, nobody wants to play those 4 teams listed right now in a tournament setting.
Only 2 losses this season for the Lady Rebels. At Pacific by 7 and at Oklahoma State. That was a big 3 out of the timeout. The first points for the Cowgirls in almost 3.5 minutes.
If Wyoming wants to go on a run, it comes down to the defensive side of the ball. They have to get stops and keep the Lady Rebels in one-and-done situations.
Just getting killed on the glass and in second chance points. They're minus 15 on the glass. They are minus 12 in second chance points. Booker to the free throw line.
That crossover forced 2 Wyoming players to run into each other and opened up a wide open opportunity for Booker. That was a sick crossover.
Now, she's been great in Mountain West championship games. She had 25 in the title game win last season, 15 tonight, and just 1 turnover. Furtick finally gets some good position and draws the foul on Young.
When Furtick can get low to the ground, almost like she's in a squat position, that's when you know she has the proper positioning and angle to get to the basket, because she has her defender properly pinned on her back and then can use her hips to turn around and go in for a finish.
Furtick, we thought, was going to be the key to this third go-round for Wyoming against UNLV, but she just could not stay on the court. Picked up 2 fouls in the second quarter, sat for much of the second, and then a third foul early in the third, much to the chagrin of Barrelman. And she misses both free throws.
Barrelman might have been distracting her during that last free throw.
That's a good point. He's right behind that basket. Final 90 seconds. And a double team now on Booker. She twirls away from it and draws the foul.
Booker is so confident with the ball in her hands that Wyoming could send all 5 players at her. She would find a way to stay composed and finish out the possession. Having that senior leadership as a head coach is so comforting down the stretch.
Booker is trying to take some time off the clock, keeping the possession, and draws the foul.
Lady Rebels playing with the perfect amount of tempo right now, making really good decisions on when to pass it around the perimeter and when to just take it to the basket. Either way, they're forcing Wyoming to have to defend one-on-one and making them pay when they can get them off the dribble in foul situations.
Booker was so clutch at the free throw line last night. That was her first attempt of this game, but she was 13 of 14. And so many were down the stretch, the final minute and a half of that tight game against San Diego State that they ended up winning by 3. Elena scoops that in and cut it to a 9-point game at the 1-minute mark. Beat that pressure, and now a foul with 50 seconds to go.
UNLV has to be prepared for Wyoming to look to foul. And now the Cowgirls are in a position where they're going to have to foul in order to create extra possessions for themselves.
Still have a couple more to give. They're going to go back-to-back. Not only regular season champs, but conference tournament champs as well, and make this all academic. And we talked at the start of the broadcast tonight about how if UNLV were to lose this game, they'd be on the bubble. And Lindy LaRocque told us last night, we don't want to be a part of that kind of history. We don't want to be a part of the first team to win 30 games and miss out on the tournament. We want to make our own history and control our own fate. And it looks as though they're going to do that tonight.
UNLV has controlled its own fate by attacking Wyoming with balanced scoring. Multiple players have at least 7 or more points. They've forced Wyoming to have to guard every single player on the floor. And it's been a recipe for success.
This is the 90th game Lindy LaRocque has coached at UNLV. If this score holds, she'll be 72-18. And she took over a program that was coming off a losing season. And she's got an 11-point lead with 43 seconds to go. And they can sense another one here in Vegas.
UNLV has completely dominated the second half from a rebounding perspective. Plus 17 on the boards. They've just been so dominant, and credit the play of Desiree Young. She has been anywhere and everywhere on the floor, creating second chance opportunities, and it's been so difficult to defend.
A year ago on this floor, they took out Colorado State in the championship game, 75-65. It was the first tournament title in program history. Essence Booker was the tournament MVP. And now they're looking to do what Boise State did a few years ago and win multiple tournament titles in a row. Booker pulls down the rebound. Last season, UNLV got into the tournament as a 13 seed, and they gave Arizona all they could handle in Tucson. They lost 72-67. This year, Lady Rebels deserve a much better seed. They're hoping for a 9 or a 10. With a record of 31-2, I don't think that's asking for too much.
No, and they won every single game in conference play this year. That is just so difficult to do. Winning conference games on the road especially, it does not matter what league you're in, it is so hard. And the Lady Rebels consistently, from the start of the season to now, have shown that they truly are one of the best teams, not only in this league, but a team that can compete at a high level in the NCAA tournament.
And for Wyoming, a great season. 5-game winning streak will be snapped, but they finished second in the regular season and will come up second in the tournament as well. But this was not a team picked to compete for a title this season. They were picked 4th behind UNLV, New Mexico, and Colorado State. What a great first season for Heather Rizal. UNLV is going to clinch the automatic bid for the Mountain West as we've worked our way almost halfway through the auto bids. You were there in Minneapolis as the Iowa Hawkeyes clinched the auto bid out of the Big Ten.
Iowa potentially could be a 1 seed in the tournament this year. They are scary good and playing at a high level right now.
It's going to be interesting Sunday night. The selection show, who gets those 1 seeds and where are they going to put these Lady Rebels? Bottom line is, they're going to have to put them somewhere. No more bubble talk. It's going to be a 24th straight conference win, a 23rd straight win at home, a 22nd straight win overall for the 21st ranked UNLV Lady Rebels, who go back-to-back in the Mountain West. .28 points and 17 rebounds for Desiree Young. She was the preseason Mountain West Player of the Year. She didn't win that award. Found that out a few days ago. Wonder if that fueled her a little bit in this tournament run. And she's only a junior. Well, Wyoming made it interesting in the third. They hit 5 straight threes to cut the lead to 1. But the Lady Rebels are perfect in the Mountain West. We'll speak with the champs on the other side of this quick timeout. Can't get any better than the UNLV Lady Rebels this season in conference play. Perfect regular season champs and conference tournament champs. And we send it to Megan McEwen with the victorious head coach, the coach of the year, Lindy LaRock.
Coach, this was a 3-point game headed into the 4th quarter. What was the difference for your team defensively?
This team knows how to win. They know it was winning time. They know how to get defensive stops, get every rebound, and execute on the offensive end. There's no doubt in my mind.
Speaking of executing on the offensive end, Desiree Young, 28 points, 17 rebounds. Why is she so difficult to defend?
She's a player of the year. She had a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. She's amazing. I'm just so lucky and blessed to be able to coach her every day. She pours her heart out on that court. She is relentless and passionate, and she had a hell of a game tonight.
You clinch an automatic berth to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year. What makes this team in particular special to do it with?
It's just, they're just such a special group. They don't like losing. They like working hard. They love winning. They do all the right things. They're great young women. They listen. They're great students. They have just completely bought into everything that we are all about here at UNLV. So I can't be more thankful to them, and I'm so proud and happy of them.
Congratulations, Coach. Thanks so much. Chris?
Yeah, I had a feeling that Desiree not being named Conference Player of the Year might have fueled her a little bit, and Coach LaRocque letting us into that maybe not so well-kept secret that is the case. 31st win of the season. It's now 22 in a row for the UNLV Lady Rebels, and no one was better today than Desiree Young. 28 points and 17 rebounds. She's with Megan McEwen.
Desiree, 28 points, 17 rebounds for you tonight, but why were you able to be so physical in the post?
I mean, I've been waiting to play them since my freshman year, and I think they're a great team. They shot the ball really, really well, and I knew I just had to step up. I took the Reno game very personally. I felt like I wasn't at my best, and my teammates really stepped up, and they showed out. And they showed that we're the best team in Mountain West, and we're coming back, and I'm glad that we won today.
Especially from the perspective of being down in the paint against a great post player like Fertig. Why was it so important for you to assert your dominance?
I mean, I just wanted to let people know that, it's not easy down there, and you have to be physical and you got to be hard, and I think I played my heart out today, and that's what I do for my team. I'm a team player. I want the best for my teammates, and I gave them what I had today.
You had a special moment with Coach LaRocque before you came over for this interview. I know you exchanged some words. Why is it special to win it with her as your head coach?
I mean, she's from Las Vegas. I'm from Las Vegas. We helped her get Coach of the Year. My freshman year, she helped me get Freshman of the Year. So this is just a special moment for us. We should have won it then, and we won it now, and we're ready to go to the NCAA tournament.
Congratulations, Desiree. Thanks so much. Chris?
How about the women's basketball in Las Vegas? The Aces, the reigning WNBA champs, and the Lady Rebels finish off a perfect season with their 22nd straight win overall. For Megan McEwen and our entire crew, I'm Chris Hassel. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. UNLV, the Lady Rebels, champs, as we send it to Adam Zucker and crew in studio.